Energize your business with InterTrade Ireland's Challenge programme and discover what's possible. Welcome to the InterTrade Ireland Challenge programme. The Challenge programme is a unique chance to take a fresh look at your business and access support and experience to fast-track innovation within your company. This presentation lasts about half an hour, but will affect the way you manage growth for years to come. Later in this video, we will look at the methodology used to deliver the Challenge programme, and at that stage, we will explain what you and your business could achieve by participating, and also what would be required of companies that take part. To start with, however, we'd like you to consider a few key questions. Firstly, which broad strategic approach do you think is most likely to be successful for achieving significant growth? We should probably define what we mean by successful to start with. Most SMEs would narrow this down to two areas: turnover growth and profitability. Looking at turnover growth, the principal options are increasing loyalty from existing customers or getting new customers. Both are right, but which is most right, most often, for most companies? Typically, when we ask people this question in seminars, 2/3 say existing customer loyalty, and 1/3 says new customers. However, the data show that finding new customers is a much stronger driver of growth. This chart shows that when we look at a business whose sales have declined, most often we find they had significantly fewer new customers. Higher growth companies, on the other hand, show a strong correlation with increasing numbers of new customers. To be clear, both routes can work, and seminar participants regularly argue that there is less risk associated with looking to existing customers for growth. However, the research shows that the biggest potential for growth most often comes from acquiring new customers. The data we've looked at show that for significant growth, the number of new customers was clearly more important than the actual amount bought by the customer or customer loyalty. The reason new customers offer significantly more potential than existing customers is that there are limits to how much existing customers can consume. You can have a share of their stomach, their throat, or a share of their wallet, but all have a limit. So to achieve a level of significant growth, we need new customers. Another driver of turnover growth is new product introduction. And the research shows a connection between companies offering new products and the overall growth of the company. What is important to note is that the graph shows a linear growth in new products, but exponential growth in overall turnover. So if you develop a reliable way of securing new customers and a reliable and repeatable way of launching new products, then you can expect significant business growth. So considering profitability, what would you think is the highest margin strategy? Is it quality? Are we the highest quality producer? Speed and turnaround? Cost? Lowest cost to customer? New products regardless of demand? Or listen to customers and create new products that they ask for? Typically, when asking this question in seminars and other events, the most frequent response relates to developing new products based on existing customer demand. In actual fact, the correct answer, according to the data, is creating new markets regardless of demand. The reason for this is that when you create new products mainly based on reacting to customer demand, you are likely to be creating products based on the same demand your competitors are targeting. And you are then likely to find yourself competing with similar competitor offerings, driving margin down in the process. Henry Ford famously said, "If I had asked my customers what they wanted, they would have said faster horses." The incredible success of Apple is another example of how innovation can drive demand that didn't previously exist. So leading the market and creating demand often offers the highest profit opportunity. One of our colleagues in the United States likes to constantly remind us, if you're not unique, you'd better be cheap. That's because there is an inescapable continuum in business between commodity at one end and monopoly at the other. If you are at the commodity end, you are forced into competing on price. At the monopoly end, you control the price and the profitability. So to go back to the 5 options in profitability, what do the data show us? Innovation outstrips all others by a distance. When we engage with companies, we discuss their growth aspirations, and typically it looks like this. They have a historical trajectory and an ambitious growth aspiration. But when you discuss their strategy for growth, it inevitably centers around getting better at the things they are already doing, and that typically will get them to this point. It is still growth, but along the same trajectory. If they do nothing, then they can only expect sales to be the same at best. Even doing the same stuff better is only going to maintain your trajectory, leaving a big gap. And the only way to fill this gap is new markets, new customers, and new products. We are reminded of Einstein's definition of insanity. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So it might be useful at this point to look at a commonly used strategy analysis tool called Ansough's Matrix, which suggests there are 4 core strategies that your business can adopt. On the horizontal axis, we consider your products and services both new and existing. On the vertical axis, we consider your markets, again, both new and existing. So a focus on continuing to offer existing products into existing markets is called market penetration. Offering new products into existing markets is called product development. And similarly, offering existing products in new markets is called market development. On the bottom right is a strategy based on offering new products into new markets, known as unrelated diversification. A strategy based on taking completely new products to totally new markets is generally accepted as being very risky. By contrast, the strategy of continuing to offer existing products to existing markets is usually very safe. But as we saw from an earlier chart, this strategy at best maintains the trajectory and is less likely to deliver significant growth in most situations. So these 2 quadrants offer a real kick forward in growth, and it's these that we consider as genuine innovation strategies. It all sounds simple, but something seems to be holding us back. If innovation is the key to growth, and government agencies are keen to support innovation, why don't more companies do it? Innovation drives growth and profitability. So what are the barriers? Clearly, innovation is seen by many to involve unacceptable levels of risk and unknowns, cost and time. These fears are probably all warranted, but our objective is to show how they can be dealt with and demonstrate how companies can drive growth through innovation much more quickly, while reducing risk and cost at the same time. Let's start with an important chart that maps the potential for profitable success. These dots represent real commercialized products. The vertical axis represents consumers' purchase intent, how meaningful the product or service is in their eyes. Along the horizontal axis is measured the uniqueness of the product. We look to the vertical axis to establish winners and losers. The higher the dot, the greater the success. The lower the dot, the greater the likelihood of failure. As we move along the horizontal axis, we see a greater spread of dots top to bottom, or a greater divide of success and failure. This makes sense because the more unique, the bigger the success or loss can be. These products in the middle are commodity products and have lower risk, but again, low probability of delivering strong growth. What companies need is a way of developing new products that would appear towards the top right-hand area, unique and highly meaningful, while limiting the risk of producing products that would appear towards the bottom right, unique but not at all meaningful to potential customers. The fear of producing unique products that nobody wants can often lead to the creation of a safe culture, which drives people to avoid innovation. This is understandable, because in fact the risk of human error in innovation is high. Stats show that generally people in business have very low success when trying to spot winning ideas, often below 10%, and some argue as low as 5%. If we presented 10 ideas, and asked you to identify probable success, chances are you'd get it right 10% of the time. So if we are just going to use our gut feeling, then we would be better putting our money in a slot machine. At least that offers a 32% chance of success. The answer, very simply, is that a reliable and repeatable innovation strategy needs a reliable, repeatable system. We would suggest that success from innovation is probably best served with some kind of systematic approach. It needs a process. HR has a process, finance has a process, and innovation should equally have processes too. And this is exactly what the Challenge Programme delivers. The InterTradeIreland Challenge Programme offers businesses a highly effective system. The programme helps the participating companies to implement these processes for sustainable innovation success. Challenge is based on a proven system, responsible for over €2 billion in revenue from new products and services. The Challenge system is endorsed by the United States National Institute of Standards and Technology. Critically, the Challenge system is based not on opinion, but rather the principles, tools, and methods are derived from comprehensive research. Research on the factors that make products succeed or fail, and the factors that make development teams effective. Through reverse engineering over 20,000 products and tracing the key factors leading to their successes or failures, and through observing over 6,000 development teams, identifying the absence or presence of critical attributes in their product development processes, and relating these to their success with innovation. This research has been used to shape a unique approach and delivers a set of processes you can put in play in your business to greatly increase your chance of innovation success. The Challenge Programme has helped companies in both the north and south of Ireland to develop and deliver an innovation strategy with measurable success.
My name is Joseph Owens. I'm Managing Director of Tata Group, a company based in the west of Ireland.
My name is Breda Moore. I work with a company called TE Laboratories.
My name is Fiona Bennington and I'm a design engineer for Fast Engineering in Antrim.
My name is Kevin Vallely and I'm the Product Development Manager here in CDE Global.
Before Challenge, I suppose when we had new ideas and new things we wanted to run with, it was probably very much kept within the management team. And we probably weren't very good at communicating where we were hoping to go with different ideas and projects. But what we have found with Challenge is we now have a very inclusive way of actually carrying out innovation.
The biggest impact or change that the Challenge Programme has made is that it's changed us from being a company that was sporadically innovative to one that is systematically innovative.
Challenge sped up the time it takes for us to develop new products. The particular product that we were involved in with Challenge we released in a space of 9 months, and it would usually take us at least twice that.
From the point of view of profitability, Challenge has allowed us to actually make sure that we have a process in place that prevents us from running with products and services that aren't going to succeed in the marketplace.
Well, it does create a certain buzz around the R&D department that ideas that potentially we have developed can create a lot of revenue for the company.
What the Challenge Programme has enabled us to do is to spend small amounts of money wisely, to pick better bets, and just to fail fast, fail cheap.
From the Challenge Programme, we obtained this new process called Fail Fast, Fail Cheap, and it gives us the ability to take an idea, work through, identify the death threats of the idea, so within a short space of time we can see if that's a viable project for the company to pursue.
For me, the biggest thing that I learned from the Challenge Programme was the Fail Fast, Fail Cheap methodology, and it's about reducing risk and increasing your confidence. And I feel now that we know that innovation doesn't have to be expensive or take a long time, and you can still come out with amazing results.
This process has allowed us to look at things more critically before we invest the time and the money, so that we're, to use the words of Challenge, fail fast, fail cheap.
From coming out of the engineering workshop day session and having generated 103 ideas was just a major turning point and really made me believe in this challenge programme.
I can honestly, wholeheartedly recommend the challenge programme to anyone who needs to reinvigorate the way that they approach innovation within their company.
That's the big thing with challenge as well. It's not all about making the extra money, it's also making sure that you don't make the mistakes you would have made in the past.
Companies that focus on innovation know that there is risk, and they do apply traditional models to minimize risk, which typically looks like this. It is a gate-based model that follows stages, and as it meets the barriers, it goes back a stage and comes forward again. The tendency with this model is to go round and round and avoid risk by never getting out of the system. The real risk is that it holds ideas back from the market. The biggest risk is actually missing the opportunity. The challenge program approach is called simultaneous engineering. The approach leads to development related to 3 key areas of success simultaneously: the product itself, how it is marketed, priced and distributed, and finally, the business model. The process is a continuous and rapid cycle of test and learn. As our understanding about the potential innovation increases in one area, this will have an impact on our thinking on the other 2. The process works by dealing with all 3 areas simultaneously. So what we get is something that continually grows in strength in all 3 areas. The traditional linear model tends to take a seed idea and try to make that idea work, all the while maintaining the integrity of the idea. The challenge system allows the idea to evolve and change through testing and learning in all 3 areas at the same time. The purpose is to arrive at an idea that actually works, which may well be very different from the idea we started out with. This system is proven to provide a big kick forward with marketplace success, often from 10 to 45%. Products are taken to market 6 times faster through following a process known as fail fast, fail cheap, which kills costly losses early, allowing you to concentrate on ideas that are much more likely to be successful. Not all ideas are good ideas. Failure is inevitable. The trick is to identify the failure early and switch your focus before wasting too much time and money on an idea that is likely to fail. What is fail fast, fail cheap? It is a process that allows us to identify the big threats early, what we call death threats. The innovation process has a series of challenges, and it is human nature to deal with the smaller challenges first. We suspect there is a big elephant in the room, but we focus on the manageable challenges first. The fail fast, fail cheap system forces us to start by looking at the big threats and seeing if they can be broken down and managed. Another way of thinking about a death threat is just to consider it as an unknown. A problem that we know how to solve is not a death threat. If we know a project will take 2 years and 20 people, we can make a decision based on our known requirements in terms of timescale, profit, etc. It is the unknown that is the death threat. It's when we don't know how long or how many or will the customer like it, etc. We know what is viable, but we don't know where the idea is going to end up. The fail fast, fail cheap system asks, with no time and no budget, what can we do to validate our concerns? We do some fast and cheap tests to get smarter in relation to these death threats. We're not looking for a final solution. We are trying to reduce the parameters of the unknown. We don't have to solve the issue. We just have to reduce the unknown to a level where we have confidence that it can be solved. We then go back to the development process. Or maybe we discover that we cannot reduce the unknown to an accepted level and will not move forward while the death threat remains, in which case we kill the project. The reality is that there are a huge number of things you have to tackle between creating an idea and launching it to market. So if you want to know where to focus, Ask yourself, what is the biggest unknown? What is the biggest death threat? This question should be asked in relation to each of the 3 key areas identified earlier: product, marketing, and business model. What is the unknown? And what can we do fast and cheap to reduce the parameters of this unknown? There are 3 major challenge areas that affect most companies. How do we create ideas? And how do we implement a system for doing this? Challenge has a system that helps create many ideas. Having a good volume of ideas is vital for speed in development. Next, we need to evaluate those ideas. And the program provides a reliable process for identifying ideas with a high probability of success. Finally, how do we get them to market with the minimum of time, money, and risk? The system consists of a 5-stage process called innovation engineering. It is effectively a pipeline with 5 stages: ideas, define, discover, develop, and finally, deliver. At the idea stage, companies often have lots of ideas floating around. We use a create tool to capture these. New and often existing ideas. They don't all have to be new ideas. The define stage is when we express what the idea is about and where it fits in our business. We use communication tools to achieve this. After that, we use commercial tools to establish if the idea will fail or if it should be developed and brought to market. We use fail fast, fail cheap to make the process more robust and highlight the death threats. The ideas that survive and evolve will be really strong, and that's when the proper financing comes in to develop the idea. This means you don't spend the money at the idea stage. You only spend real money when the idea has been validated and is extremely strong and robust, having survived the fail fast, fail cheap process. The last stage is the launch to market. The whole process is typically 6 times faster and has up to 80% less risk attached. Normally, through this process, you spend 1/3 of your time and only 5% of your money at the discovery stage. 2/3 of your time and 95% of your money is invested in the develop stage. The next thing you learn is pipeline management of innovation. This allows you to apply a probability factor to each of the ideas rather than some cumulative target for all the ideas. It gives you a more accurate validation of the idea and improves the chances of hitting your innovation growth targets. We measure the concept value through key objectives: number of potential customers, strength of the concept persuasion, marketing capability including budget, first purchase revenue, the launch, repeat purchase revenue, frequency of repeat revenue, and lifespan of the customer. Other things to consider include strategic fit. Is it consistent with the direction in which you want the company to go? Is there an internal passion for the idea? This is probably one of the biggest influences on success or failure. People can drive on ideas to succeed, but they can also drive on ideas to fail. So passion is important. So some key summaries. New products and markets often provide the fastest way to significant growth. Meaningful, dramatically different products deliver higher profit. Consistently faster and less risky growth from innovation requires objective and reproducible systems. Human gut has 10% success rate. Real-world test and learn reduces levels of the unknown and risk and kills poor ideas quickly. It accelerates the development of the winners. Focus on the big issues first. Find the death threats. Have a diverse innovation team, not necessarily all marketing and finance. Finally, leverage internal passion to drive good ideas to success. One of the things we would ask you to explore is where you are on this traditional business life cycle. It is important to confront reality before you start. The early stages are when you're growing your market, your turnover, and realizing good profitability. Then your competitors start muscling in and pushing against your pricing. 6 and 7 is when you start dropping price to compete and cutting back on staff, and the business starts to decline. Of course, the good news is that that doesn't have to happen. What the Challenge program offers is a reboot exercise, one that can start another growth curve from the previous profit peak, and then another after that. So challenge yourself about where you are on this curve. To help you determine where you are and to see if this program is for you, ask yourself, does your business have tons of ideas but nothing ever happens? Do you find that commercializing ideas is painfully slow and takes up the time of expensive personnel? Are you in a sector that demands innovation, but you are unable to respond quickly enough? Are your ideas typically me too, following market demand? And do you feel you were once innovative, but now your core products are fast becoming commodities? So if you're ready to drive an innovative program of growth and want experienced assistance in energizing your business, then contact InterTrade Ireland's Challenge team and discover what's possible.